Busy lady?
Never stop there. You taking a crafty break?
Sort of. You in a good mood?
Why?
I need a favour. Well, it's not for me exactly. It's for me brother Terry.
You what?
Yeah, you remember Terry, my brother.
Vaguely.
Well, he's turned up.
So where do the favours come in?
Well, he's looking for a job.
And?
And I was wondering...
Here, you mean?
Well, you're always telling me you're overworked and...
This is a garage, not a home for waifs and strays.
Oh, he's fully qualified.
Qualified what?
I don't know. A panel beater, I think he said. What's so funny?
Panel beating is a skilled and ancient calling, my love. But there are a lot of cowboys around who like to call themselves panel beaters.
No, he was working in a garage in London.
Oh, big deal. Until when?
Last week.
So what happened?
The boss scarped.
I know the feeling. God knows we could do with someone. Nobby's going on his holidays. Mac hasn't had his yet.
Well, then?
Oh, I don't know, Di, honestly. There's a lot of good people out of work. I just have to pick up the phone.
We'll just see him, eh? Just see him for me.
Okay, I'll see him.
Oh, great, thanks.
You're welcome.
There's only one thing.
Oh, there always is.
He's not a pretty sight.
I told Wilfred that they were aware to covet Kevin's contract right from the start. He reckons that's a point in our favour.
It's Wilfred now, is it?
All right, Mr. Sneed. He reckons that they've got no grounds to claim along the lines of abatement of nuisance. No court would entertain it.
Well, it hasn't come to that, has it?
Well, it's as well to be prepared, ready for any contingency.
Trust in Sneed and pass the ammunition.
What's that supposed to mean?
You know very well what I mean, Arthur. Oh, I don't like you involving these people in our affairs, particularly your friend Wilfred. The more I hear of him, the less I like him. He sounds really creepy.
Yeah, well, that's a matter of opinion, isn't it?
Leave things alone, love. If it was just you, I wouldn't be concerned, because I'm sure the whole thing would blow over. But with Sneed and those residents egging you on, the rift can only get worse.
In other words, you're on the MacDonald side. I'm the one who's stirring it up. All virtue resides next door.
Oh, for heaven's sake, talk sense. I'm not on anybody's side, for goodness sake. The next thing is you'll be accusing me of his disloyalty. No, I realise you're upset, Arthur, and I quite understand your every reason to be. And Mac had no right to say what he did, particularly about Kevin. But
what about Kevin? What's he supposed to have done this time?
Oh, he hasn't done anything.
Well, not as far as we're concerned, he hasn't. Your pal MacDonald doesn't share our view.
What, has he had a row with Mac?
No, not a row exactly. Mac came in here and, well, it's that power saw. It's getting on Trina's nerves.
Oh, is that all? I thought the way you two were going on, it was something important.
Well, it is important. He's only talking about legal action.
Yeah, well, threats are one thing, aren't they? What he'd actually do is something else. No, don't worry. If I know Kevin, he'll sort that lot out. He'll go next door and whisper sweet nothings in Trina's ear.
But I'm not sure that would be a good idea.
I think it's a perfect idea. Once he turns on the charm, she won't stand a chance.
Thank you. Lovely.
Right. Well, I think I'm all ready.
Ta-da!
What on earth?
It's a little surprise, darling.
But I thought it was supposed to be the dinner to celebrate my recovery. A table for 3 in the restaurant.
There was a time when you'd have done anything to maneuver me into a hotel bedroom to dine instead of taking me out to a restaurant. And the first night you managed it was the night you proposed.
You've only set for 2. Miranda not joining us?
No, darling. Sit down. Oh.
Better. Do you remember that night?
What night?
The first night that we dined together like this.
Miranda has gone up to London for the day.
I reminisce about our romance, and you talk about Miranda.
She'll eat on the train coming back.
What did you go to London for?
Oh, some man, I suppose.
I'm glad we're dining alone, Val.
We've often dined alone, Jay. Toast?
I mean, like the very first time.
Toast?
You kept changing the subject over the dinner then as well.
Yes, well, I don't call a conversation. I say, should you have as much butter as that?
I recall it. So little was said, so much accomplished.
It's a very light wine. And the nurse says you can have just one glass.
You look just the same tonight as you did then. The years have made no difference.
Oh, I see the difference. Every time I look in the mirror.
I don't.
Oh, yes, you do. You tell me so often enough.
I don't know. Perhaps it's because I have stopped looking. Cheers.
Cheers.
Right, Terry. Now, I've seen Sharon.
Where?
In the garage.
Well, I could have done that.
Listen, will you?
Well, it's no bother. Is she still about?
Just shut it and sit down and listen. Now, they are looking for somebody.
Oh, there's no problem then.
But there are a lot of other people looking for jobs as well.
Yeah, well, I'll just give her the pattern.
Terry, I don't know what's got it into your head that you're God's gift to women, but I think you've got your wires crossed somewhere along the line. Sharon's not the sort of bird to fall for patter. She's sharp as a tack. So you just go in there tomorrow morning, right, like a good little lad, and tell her the truth, if you know what that is. And she might give you a trial run. Now, have you got that?
More cheese?
I think so.
Yeah, I spoke to my specialist today.
I didn't realise he'd come down from London.
Mr. Pollard, he said, you have made a most remarkable recovery. Not that you were very ill to begin with. Very mild attack. Most unlikely to come again.
That must have pleased you.
You'll see the proof the day I leave for Scotland.
And when will that be?
Shortly before I go on the grand tour of my new Mediterranean villa company. Then to New York, and then on to Sydney to get rid of my mineral holdings. And all within 3 weeks. Do you consider that my normal life resumed?
And does your specialist know about this proposed schedule?
Well, would I embark on it otherwise?
So we're back to normal. You can continue on as you did before you collapsed, and I can carry on as I did.
Without the fights, I hope.
You know, the last time we were what you call normal, I was about to leave you. You would go your way and I'd go my way, so if we pick up from there... Well, what do you think?
The one constant thing in our marriage, Val, has been that neither of us has ever been able to change the other's mind. I tried tonight.
To change your mind or mine?
Both. Yes, go your own way, Val. You're right to do that, and I'll go mine. Perhaps it's the only way in which our paths might eventually meet. Would you like a coffee or brandy?
No, thank you.
I think I will. Coffee, anyway.
You can't ring for it. I'll have it sent. The line's been disconnected, remember?
I've made a deal with poor Ross. He's the power here now. I've given him my vote on the board, and he gives me a line.
Oh, hi, Trina. Hi. Is Joe not about?
In the bar.
Oh, well, look, I drafted up this letter for next door. Why don't you have a look at it?
It's gonna make them quake in their shoes, is it?
Look, Trina, you're the one that wanted Joe to do something, right? Hit back at Brownlow? Well, that's it.
But he's not. He's hit him back at Kevin Banks.
What?
Caught him with his arm around me.
Oh, I see. He drew the wrong conclusion, and you didn't bother telling him any differently, right?
You said it was the wrong conclusion.
Girl, you really need your bum smack, Trina. You know that?
So what are you waiting for?
Oh, no. I got enough work here of my own. And anyway, I'm hoping to wrap this up in 2 or 3 weeks. I'll be gone.
Well, make sure you send this letter off before you go. It's good.
Trina, you really take the cake, girl. You really do.
Having second thoughts already?
I'll tell you this, Trina. The longer I stay around here, the more I'm beginning to like Joe.
The real Mrs. Pink. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, darling. How did it go?
Oh, let's have some coffee.
Yes, let's. May we have some coffee for two, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
Well, the specialist thanked me for coming. Wasn't hard trying to get the truth out of him. Father may never be reasonably fit again, unless he comes to terms with his condition. In short, takes things a lot easier. If he carries on like he used to, he'll be running a constant risk. Sooner rather than later, a fatal risk. Did you eat in the restaurant?
No, I stopped that. We ate in the chalet.
How was he?
Oh, full of plans. Scotland, the Mediterranean, New York, Australia, all in 3 weeks, and full of childish fibs. He pretended the specialist had seen him this morning. Not actually lying, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Sometimes he makes me feel more like his maiden aunt than his daughter. When is he planning on leaving?
As soon as he can make the arrangements, and he started on them already. Mr. Ross, it would seem, is being very helpful.
He would be.
Oh, coffee. Thank you.
Mother, how are we going to stop him?
Well, we've made our own attempts. I suggest that we make a concerted effort.
Perhaps that's what he wants. Has he gone to bed?
No. Sitting up reading about mining reports in Australia.
Well, let's go and see him when we've had this.
Not tonight. I had to disappoint him about something tonight, so let him sleep it off. In the morning. 9 o'clock.
I'll tell you one thing. My last boss looked like you wouldn't have caught me moving on. Not for love nor money.
Money is negotiable. Love is something else.
That's very good. I must remember that.
Sit down.
Oh.
Right, now tell me what you can do.
You name it.
No, dear, you name it.
What, so much, really? Where shall I start?
Any way you like.
Well, by choice, if one has a choice these days, of course, I'm a bodywork specialist. And I don't mean your pin-ups on the calendars either. Top end of the market stuff. Anything you got coming through, it'll be a doddle.
I see.
No offence, man.
And what else?
Pardon?
Do you do?
Oh, general mechanic.
Served your time?
Well, not exactly.
Terry, either you have or you haven't.
Well, no, I haven't, but... Well, you know how it is. One place I was at, I did nothing but tune cars all day. Had a bit of a feel for it, put anything right. Yeah, they used to call me the Doc. That's what they used to call me.
Fascinating.
Want me to give you a demo? Give us a pair of overalls, stick me under a car, you won't believe your eyes.
No, thank you. Sit yourself down again. You got references?
How many do you want?
One good one could just tip the balance.
Well, I'm in luck then, aren't I? I had a bit of trouble with my last governor, I think I told you.
Yeah?
This is the one before.
Right.
Rupert Morrow, no less.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't really. Bit out in the sticks up here. Down in town now, well, his name's bandied about a bit. He thought the world of me.
So why'd you leave him?
Bribed, wasn't I?
Right, I'll check it out, yeah.
One thing, though, I was hoping to start pretty soon.
Well, that might be possible. I'll give him a buzz, shall I?
Yeah, you do that small thing, yeah.
All right.
Trouble is, he's a bit busy in the mornings, you know, around the auctions and that. Afternoons, though, he's all yours.
Fine.
Oh, when you've had a word, there'll be no doubt about it. I'm your man.
Morning, Miranda. You had breakfast?
Yes.
Oh, pity. You could have had it with me in the dining room.
I'd have thought you'd have had it in here.
Lazy habit. Breakfasting in one's bedroom.
Oh, don't sail off just yet. Mother's coming.
Then I'll take her to breakfast.
No. Neither of us are going to encourage you in this childishness.
What have you been saying to Miranda?
In regard to what?
In regard to my not being in a fit state to walk a few yards to the dining room.
Ah, well, strictly speaking, nothing. It was your specialist that said that, in effect.
So that's why you couldn't dine with me last night. You were in London conspiring with my specialist.
If you put it like that.
I do. Not as far as you're concerned, of course. He's made you worried about me, and there's nothing to worry about. I mean, he just says that because it's a thing to say.
Oh, Daddy.
Wasn't just your specialist, darling. Your GP said it, too, when I spoke to him.
I am not going to be ganged up on by my wife and daughter.
Daddy, there was once a boy that you didn't want me to go out with. Well, as it happened, you were right, though I didn't know it at the time. For a solid week afterwards, you'd have nothing to do with me. You said I had to choose between a heartbreak or the benefit of your experience, but I couldn't have both. Well, I'm a bit young to say that to you, But if you carry on like this, I'm not going to sit around and watch you destroy yourself. Well, I'll leave the motel. And you needn't bother writing to me because I won't answer your letters.
That is emotional blackmail of a most distressing kind.
Which is it, Daddy? Are you in the pink of health or not in a state to be distressed? You say the last, and I will join you for breakfast in here, but not in the dining room.
I am eating in the dining room. I am never going to have breakfast in a sick room again as long as I...
Live?
I know my daughter. She's bluffing.
Yes, of course she is. But not half as much as you are.
I am going to have breakfast in the dining room. Will you join me, Valerie? Just to make sure I don't fall face forward into the porridge. Look at me. I'm as steady as a rock.
And sometimes just as solid.
Look, we will have a peaceful breakfast. We won't discuss anything that can upset you.
After all these years, you found a subject.
Come on.
You can take your telephone call here. Right, here.
Hello, Rue. It's Terry. Yeah, great, absolutely great. Now listen, there's a little kite flying I want you to hang on to for me. There's a bird up here. Oh, cut that out, will you? This is serious. Name her Sharon Metcalfe. Now, she's going to get onto you, and you're going to tell her what a whiz kid I am round the workshop. She's on about references, so I'll work for you for 2 years, and I broke your heart when I left, OK? Now, stop laughing. Just tell her that, will you? 'Cause it means me getting a job, that's why. Oh, and Rube, use your posh voice, will you?
If you could just hear it, Val, it's ticking away like a well-oiled clock.
Despite the fact that you overate.
The condemned man ate a hearty breakfast. Yara.
What's this?
What?
These? Well, at least you took out insurance.
I have told you everything about my Dickie heart, Val.
Then why pretend that you haven't got one?
Look, Val, I know that I will have to cut down a bit, take longer rests between trips. But to lead a quiet, a sedate life, and rationing my time hour by hour, can you see me doing that? A man becomes a nothing, an empty shell, if he simply gives up. So, should I carry on as I always have done? Or shall I simply give up?
Oh, you're exaggerating. You always do.
That's good for my circulation. If I can't live the way I want to, what's the point of living at all? See, my dear, I've always lived for what I could look forward to. If I'm going to be alone from now on, what is there to live for?